Time now for our big board. Team of insiders standing by with more of today's top stories. And we're going to start with Deflategate. It's still around. Legal battle between Tom Brady and the NFL. And now it could actually end up in the Supreme Court after Brady was denied a rehearing by the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. Let's talk about that with our senior legal correspondent, Sunny Hostin. So the question is Tom Brady going to give up or go to the Supreme Court? What do you think the chances are?
Well, I got to tell you, I don't think there are very many chances. This is a real Hail Mary by Tom Brady. The Supreme Court review is discretionary. It takes less than 5% of its cases. And so the bottom line is, out of 7,000 to 10,000 cases, only about 80 are taken.
All right.
So it's very unlikely.
So unlikely that it'd be taken, but I also heard that Ruth Bader Ginsburg could be back in the news with this one because he could appeal directly to her. What are the chances, by the way, if she or the court decides to hear the case, that he could win?
I don't think that the notorious RBG is going to give him a win here. The bottom line is that because she comes from the Second Circuit, yes, she is the justice that will hear this petition, but 4 out of 8 of the justices have to agree to take this case. So this is a really juicy sports controversy, a legal one.
But what's his best argument? Does he even have a good argument?
You know, he has an argument that NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell did him wrong. He's saying that Roger Goodell shouldn't have suspended him for 4 games. He's saying that Roger Goodell acted outside of the scope of the collective bargaining agreement. He didn't give him adequate notice of the rules. He just ignored basic requirements of consistency. He is really pretty upset with the NFL commish. But again, the Supreme Court taking Deflategate case with all the things that are going on in the world, doubtful.
Don't bet on it.
All
okay,
right.
thanks.
Fair enough, Sonny. Thank you. All right, now to an alarming new report on road rage. The American Automobile Association revealing this morning that nearly 80% of drivers admit to expressing significant anger behind the wheel at least once in the past year. Dr. Elizabeth Lombardo, a clinical psychologist, joins us now. And Dr. Lombardo, I have to say that I'm not surprised by those numbers. We're saying it's outrageous. But I actually don't think it is, having driven a few times in my life. What do you think why people are so quick to rage when they're behind the wheel? I mean, we can all be mild-mannered people when we're walking down the street and somehow we get behind the wheel and we change.
Right, we change, yeah. First of all, stress levels are higher than ever. And when we're stressed out, we tend to personalize other people's behavior. They're insulting me by doing that. Now, you couple that with the anonymity of driving. You're not seeing this person face to face. And when we don't see someone face to face, a lot of times we give ourselves permission to react more aggressively.
So if you feel this coming on, if you feel it boiling up inside, now this is for Amy more than anyone else, what do you do?
It's a quick intervention, Amy.
So what tips would you have?
What you want to do first is take a deep breath or turn up your music. Laugh even if something isn't funny. Do something to reduce your stress. Stress is on a continuum from 0 to 10. And when we are at a 7 or higher, we don't think rationally. That's when we do things that we later regret. So first, decrease that stress. And then play the game I call I Wonder Why. I wonder why they reacted like that. We tend to assume it's because they're being insulting to us, but really, maybe they're on their way to the hospital because someone's having a baby, or maybe they're trying to get away from their in-laws as quickly as possible. When you change your perspective, it can change your aggression.
So put yourself in the other driver's shoes.
Get away from their in-laws as quick as possible. That's hilarious. That is really good advice, by the way. I also just, if I'm alone, try to pretend my children are in the car.
Well, that's a good one.
Because we act differently, I think, or hopefully, when our children are in the car.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Dr. Lombardo. That was great. Now we're going to move on to the Emmy nominations. Television Academy set to announce the nominees later this morning. They're going to choose from 8,000 submissions over 100 categories. And Nick Watt joins us from L.A. this morning. Hey, Nick, you're looking dapper this morning there by the stage. Well, what kind of storylines are you expecting this morning?
Well, George, it's going to be all about Game of Thrones. That show can become the most decorated drama in Emmy history, right now tied with, I believe, The West Wing and Hill Street Blues. Last year, 24 nominations and 12 wins, but it was not always so. In season 1, they only won 2. That was for the opening title credits. And Peter Dinklage, of course, who will get nominated again this year. Probably won't win. He wasn't quite so front and center in this last season. But, you know, the cultural impact of this show is immense. I know people who have named their babies Khaleesi.
Wow. I mean, I'm a fan, but I've never gone that far. And I have to say, this season, in my opinion, the best yet. So that'll be exciting. Also, a big focus this year, Nick, is on the limited series category. And this is an often overlooked category, but I just looked at who they're saying may be nominated, and I've seen every one of these shows.
You know, in this age of kind of on-demand TV viewing, this category has really come to the fore. We've got Fargo this year, we've got Roots, we've got American Crime here on ABC, and the frankly overrated Night Manager, but that's another story.
No.
And of course, The People versus O.J. Simpson. The People versus O.J. Simpson. Now, this show, they've taken a story, we all know how it ends, and they've made it scintillating, fantastic TV. And the acting, I mean, Courtney B. Vance, we've got Sterling Brown, we've got Cuba Gooding Jr., John Travolta, Sarah Paulson, and David Schwimmer playing the original Kardashian. One critic told me, if this show does not win, the Emmys are broken forever.
Wow. Amy, you just actually showed how much you're working. You have all that time on planes to watch all of these shows.
I see them all. I download them and then I watch them. It's true.
I got to put Nick on the spot. What's the matter with Night Manager?
Exactly.
You know, I'm British, so I see through this British thing. Not everything that British people say is smart, clever, or funny. It's just not true. I see through that show. I love Tom Hiddleston as much as the next man, but I see through that.
But you don't love Tom Hiddleston as the next woman, because he is nice to look at, too. That's another big perk of the show. Just saying.
Taylor Swift agrees. Thank you, guys. Dr. Lombardo, thank you, Sonny, as well. That was great.